Welcome to episode 2 of The Riff. I'm Fletcher Ward. The Riff features local musicians in conversation and performance, recorded and produced right here at Thurston Community Media. I'm thrilled to have as our special guest local songwriter, singer, violin and guitar player Arden Gonta. Arden, thanks so much for being here.
Thanks for having me here.
My pleasure. So, I want to start with some of your earliest memories of music, like when you were a wee kid. What are some of your first memories?
When I was a wee lass. My parents always had music playing in the house. And one of, I guess my dad's favorites, and probably my mom's too, was Leon Russell. Carney was always playing, but also Rollin' My Sweet Baby's Arms. And I remember tearing around my house, our tiny little house, and I would like jump on the furniture and, Rollin' My Sweet Baby's Arms was, that's the song.
I have such a similar memory of jumping around on the furniture. There was a piano player, a boogie-woogie piano player, that was like my first records that my mom put on. And jumping around on the furniture, I mean, that's where it's at, right?
It's the thing to do, I guess. I don't know. I mean, I still kind of do that sometimes, so.
Yeah.
Yeah,
what about a memory of like having music performed like live for you? I think that was your dad, right?
Yeah. My dad, I learned when I was very young. I want to say 7 or 8, but it was probably earlier, but I don't know, I was tiny. I learned that he is a musician. He can play guitar, and he can play guitar pretty well. And one day he went into his bedroom and took this Fender Dreadnought out from under the bed and played me a song, and I, saw magic happen. And I said, Dad, I'm going to do that. Dad, teach me to do that. And he said, okay, but you're going to learn violin first. And I did. And he helped me with that too. And I'm very thankful.
Cool. So then I think you carried forward with the violin in school and did some related with school orchestra or band or something, right?
Mm-hmm. I was in orchestra from 4th grade till first or second week of 7th grade. And it got way too competitive at that point. And I didn't want to compete, I just wanted to play, so I dropped out. And I kept playing Irish fiddle. That's where my heart was. And it stayed there for a really long time until I picked up the guitar. And it still has a very special place in my heart. But yeah, I finally picked up the guitar and started writing my own songs and singing. Well, first I started playing Beatles songs. For Christmas one year, my dad got me a Beatles chord book, and that was my Bible.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you play a few Beatles songs. I mean, just almost throw a dart at the Beatles catalog and pick a few songs and you start playing them. You get a whole education on songwriting just
oh my God.
instantaneously with just a few Beatles songs, right?
Definitely.
Yeah. And so you were applying it for songwriting. And what's your sort of method or methods for songwriting? Is it acoustic guitar with poetry, or how does it go?
Definitely acoustic guitar. It usually starts with that. And I'll find some sort of chord progression, and I'll hum a melody. But if I get stuck, is when I turn to paper. And I'll write out a chord progression under some sort of self-imposed limitation, like it has to be in this key and it has to be this many measures long to start, triple meter or something. And then once I have the chord progression, I fill in the melody or a melody. But I don't play it until I finish it, because I don't want to rely on my ear at that point, because I want something completely different.
Interesting. So constraint is something that when you push against a constraint or constraints, it opens something up for you. It gives you possibility to move in unexpected directions, maybe.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
If I have the rules, I can ignore them, but I like the rules first.
Yeah. I've heard that before from one of my great musical heroes, Peter Gabriel, who said, if you're stuck, just find some constraints and apply them as vigorously and with as much discipline as you can. And then, because you're struggling against the constraints, you'll find a path, forward. So that's
Absolutely.
Cool. Very cool. So your band that you play with these days is Gang of Wizards, right? And this is a pretty sizable ensemble, right? How many wizards are involved?
I don't know, 7 to 10, 11, depending on the day.
Okay. The wizards that come are the wizards that play, right? And
Yep.
yeah. And describe the music if you can. I know it's pretty eclectic. I got to see y'all last night. So
Yeah, thank you for coming, by the way.
my
I
pleasure.
really appreciated that. Yeah, on our band bio, we're all organic roller coaster funk. But I really just don't think any of us have the words to describe what we actually sound like. Mm-hmm. And we're all very, very good friends. We really enjoy spending time together, and whenever we sit in a room, magic happens because we're combining so many different musical styles and backgrounds, and I don't know what those are called either.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I did get to come out last night. You were playing, Gang of Wizards was playing at Rhythm and Rye in downtown Olympia. And I made it out, and I had a great time. I mean, I mentioned before that there was just such joy popping out of the music because y'all were enjoying yourselves so much. And the music conveyed that, and your beings on stage conveyed that, so it was super fun. The crowd was really into it. Big crowd, pretty big crowd last night. It's a good crowd. And it was so good. And I actually shot a little footage of Gang of Wizards from right in front up at the stage. And so I've got a short clip I can show right now. Why don't we take a look at just a minute of samples from Arden's band, Gang of Wizards. Check it out. Awesome. So everybody needs to check out Gang of Wizards. That y'all are playing out a fair amount around the Olympia area these days, right?
Yes.
And do you also go out solo as much as you can?
I do.
Yeah.
As much as I possibly can.
Right.
I actually have a show coming up next week on Thursday at Octopus Cafe downtown.
Fantastic. And if people want to see your sort of schedule of performance and sort of reach out to you and say, hey, are you available for this house show or whatever, what's the best way to find you? I'm
on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, working on releasing music on Bandcamp, but I have video footage of my songs if you need that.
Yeah, so I'll put your Facebook info up on screen during this show so people can find you.
Awesome. Thank you.
And I think you mentioned to me you've got an EP that's in the works and is kind of getting close, right?
It's getting there. Yeah. I was set back with losing my voice for a week and a half, so.
Yeah, but it's coming along, and this is all your material. It's not the full Gang of Wizards in this form, but I would hope that maybe Gang of Wizards gets in the studio eventually too.
Oh yeah,
right?
We're definitely wanting to.
Y'all have way too much fun, so it would be great fun to hear.
Thank you.
Some recordings. So I know that when we talked before, you talked about how passionately you feel about encouraging people to have a creative outlet, whether it's music, to make music, or any sort of creative expression. So tell me more about that.
Yeah. I mean, I think art is everything. It's a way of both communicating and encouraging people to listen in ways that they might not typically. There's so many ways that I can answer this question now. Mm-hmm. My own personal experience with writing music often comes to a struggle of understanding that the people who I want to listen to me most are the people who won't. And they're the ones that are trying to strip me of my rights. But the people who do listen, or hear at the very least, are the ones that constantly remind me that we have the power to change those things, to change the world. And art unifies. It connects people to people and hearts to hearts, and allows for an understanding that completely opposing ideas can totally sit in the same space. Mm-hmm. And that understanding, at the very least, can lead to a conversation.
Yeah, it opens you up. Mm. It opens you up in ways that ordinary discourse can't do, I think is what I'm hearing. Yeah.
Definitely.
And what I also feel. Yeah. And I know you mentioned the other day when we were talking that you feel very interested in starting to teach maybe violin to little kids or anybody maybe. So, and you're quite a violin player as well as guitarist and songwriter. So people can reach out to you if they want to talk with you about that.
Absolutely. Yeah. Please. I really want to work with young kids because so many music programs are being cut from schools at a very early level, and I want to put it back, at least into the hearts and minds. Yeah, start that. So you don't necessarily have to be in a school music program to play music, but it's important to have that community.
Yeah, for real. So. Yeah, awesome. Well, I hope people do reach out, because not only can they go see Gang of Wizards and see you solo, but they can get some violin lessons going and guitar and whatever songwriting. So many possibilities, and it's all wonderful. So I'm super excited because you've agreed to play some songs for us. So I think we're going to take a short break. And during this break, we're going to show you a little bit of information about Thurston Community Media, the place that we're recording this show. It's a community media center. You can come take classes, you can join, and get access to the studio and other equipment to make your own shows. So check out this information, but stick around. When we come back, Arden's going to play some songs for us. We'll be right back.
Welcome to Thurston Community Media. We're a nonprofit organization that's been providing services to the greater Thurston County area since 1986.
Here at TC Media, we provide everyone with access to media production classes and opportunities to produce your own content.
TC Media members get access to our production studios, our high-definition cameras, and airtime on cable TV.
To get started, all you need to do is sign up for the orientation, free of charge. Then, once you've decided to be a member, you can take any number of our production classes.
We offer intensive training in studio and field production.
We also offer audio classes, video editing workshops, iPad production, and much more.
Once you're certified, you'll be able to check out professional equipment
and use our facilities to produce your non-commercial show.
You can also volunteer as crew on different productions.
Once your production is complete, give it to us and I'll make sure it gets on one of our channels.
You have the opportunity to share your story with people in our community.
So join us here at Thurston Community Media, where we deliver communication resources to build stronger communities.
And now, Arden Gonta.
Caroline, do you hear me calling? Caroline, are you busy falling into line? Do you hear me weeping for you? Summertime, the sky is bleeding for you, red, red wine. The atmosphere is smuggy all the time, but I'm glad you're breathing. I'm weeping for you, Caroline. Maybe I should have left you when I could. Nothing about this is well and good. Caroline, if you're listening, tell me true, Caroline. What did I do? What did I do? Caroline, another starship's ready, Caroline. All the stars are calling, Caroline. Oh, do you hear them? It's time to fly. So, Caroline, I hope he listens to you when you whine, and you're treated just as divine as you think you should be. Goodbye, Caroline. When you wake up, I'll be on the moon. I've been waiting here a whole lifetime to love you. Ooh, you make life oh so sweet, darling, please marry me. I think you're crazy. I think you've lost your mind. I think you're freaking brilliant, and you're one of a kind. You make life but a dream, baby, please marry me. Yeah.
So this next song I kind of co-wrote with my dad. It's one of his favorites, so. Welcome, Eloise and Bernadette. There are many like us, you just don't know it yet. Sometimes we can play, but don't forget that mother loves you. Welcome, Bernadise and Eloise. There are many like us, they just don't know it yet. Sometimes we can play, but don't forget that mother loves you. I'm some shade of blue, and I'm long overdue for a change in my day, or a start to something new. And mother loves you, and mother loves you. Ooh, how does it feel to be made of gold? How does it feel to be made of gold? I will not yield to your wicked rule. I will not yield to your wicked fools. Where did we go wrong? What did we do wrong? Do we go on? Do we go on? Meet your maker. Meet your maker. Meet your maker. Meet your maker. And tell me how
does it feel to be made of gold? How does it feel to be made of gold?
Thank you, Arden. Thanks so much. Thank you. That was fantastic. So that's it for another episode of The Riff. Thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks to Arden again for being here and sharing amazing songs with us. So many thanks to the crew who are completing a studio production workshop this evening. TC Media offers this workshop and many more media production classes every month. If you visit tcmedia.org, you can learn how you can become a member and make your own shows. Bye for now. See you soon.